Hi, it's Monday, the 21st of October, and we're here to look at the astrology for today, the position of the planets, and try to ascribe some meaning to that and see what the planets are trying to tell us. So the first thing I'm going to do is share so we can have a quick look at this chart, and then I'll come back to me. So I'm not just a little thing in the corner moving my hands around. Okay, now the sun. So the sun's over here at 28 degrees of Libra. That symbol for the sun is as old as time itself. It goes into prehistory. It's about 10,000 years old. Um, it was actually used in Neolithic times, but anyway. Okay, the moon, which is obvious, is down here, and the moon is at 26 degrees of Gemini, and this is at 28 degrees of Libra. So these are two air signs. So the first thing we're going to say about today is that we have the sun and moon in trine. And then I'm just going to point a few more trines out because we've got several going on here. We've got Mercury at 12 degrees of Scorpio trine, which means 120 degrees away from Saturn at 13 degrees of Pisces. And then we have yet one other, and that is the Uranus. Here we go. The Uranus in Earth, Taurus, at 26, has been, over the last 24 hours, trying Vesta in Earth, in Virgo, at 27 degrees. Actually, I'm not sure about 24 hours, but recently. The reason I'm saying gone past is because you see this R here. That means that Uranus is going retrograde, so it's pulling away from Vesta. Nevertheless, it's still very close trine. Okay, so that has some meaning too. Right, I'm just going to stop the share. We can always come back to it. Okay, so I've just got my coffee here. I'm going to, instead of just paying attention to my throat all the time, I'm just going to have some coffee. Yes, this is coffee. This is the way I drink it. Anyway, so right, let's look at the sun and the moon first. Okay, so let's just first of all establish that the sun is the masculine symbol and the moon is the feminine symbol, and these are the two big symbols: yin and yang, masculine, feminine, the emitter, the receiver. One pushing out, pushing forward, the sun, and one pulling in like gravity, pulling in to digest things and to go over things and to brood with things, and that's the moon. The masculine works in straight lines, the feminine works in curves and deals with valleys. The masculine deals with the highness of the sky. Okay, now we do know that it takes 28 days roughly for the moon to go around the Earth. And during that time, it will make all kinds of aspects to the sun. Now, an aspect is simply a matter of geometry. It's so many degrees away from something. So two things are separated by a number of degrees. That's called an aspect. That's all it is. So the moon will make many aspects to the sun as it goes around in a month, and it will twice make a trine to the sun, which is 120 degrees separation. Now, the trine actually is known in astrology to be something called harmonious. So this is not an aspect which creates difficulty. There's no stress involved with it. And this is because they're both in the same element. So if they're in the same element, they can have a conversation with each other, and in air, they certainly can. Or let me put that another way, they are working with the same environment. They're both working with air. So this means that the yang masculine and the yin feminine are working together at the moment. Now, if one of them is in Gemini, as the moon is, then this creates a very harmonious atmosphere for something quite simple, conversation. And because the other one is in Libra, something quite simple, relationship. And so therefore, conversations around in relating and relationships have an easy path at the moment. And because the moon is feminine and is all about our feelings and emotions, the intangible ones, the incorporeal ones, the ones that work not as a physical thing, but in the chemistry in our body. So because that is involved, the moon and the sun, then what it's saying is there is the possibility of emotions and mind coming together in an easy understanding. So the mind bit is coming from Gemini, the emotion bit is coming from the moon. The sun up there in Libra is talking about relating and relationship. And they're both masculine and they're both talking relating and relationship because the sun is in Libra. The sun is also representing the simple principle of masculinity or yang. Okay, that's cool. That was easy to understand. Now, there's something else going on here which I pointed out, and that was Mercury in Scorpio is trying to Saturn in Pisces. So let's just look at Mercury in Scorpio to start with. Mercury hates being in Scorpio. Let's get this straight, because it's water. And so Mercury is put into a vast amount of water, let's say the Atlantic Ocean. So we push Mercury down to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. We might have to give him a scuba diving equipment, an air lung and what have you. And then we ask him to talk, to reply to questions. Well, all you'll hear is bubbles, right? Because the water doesn't carry conversation or words. So Mercury can't sing out clearly, can't be heard. However, Mercury in Scorpio is also having an effect on Scorpio. It's making Scorpio think and consider words. Now, this won't be as easy as Mercury in Libra or Mercury in Gemini, the air signs. This is an air planet. It would love to be an air sign. An air planet in a water sign, well, it's deep sea diving in a raincoat, basically. It's down there with its aqualung and stuff, and it's talking, but the bubbles are just rushing to the surface, and the voice is inaudible because of all the watery movement. So, but nevertheless, it is possible that one is having an impact on the other. So, in any of us, in all of us rather, there is a Scorpio zodiac sign. You've all got it somewhere, okay? So somewhere in you is a highly charged emotional depth, where you take emotions to the extreme, where you want to be completely solidly hooked into a deep bond with somebody else. And that also there is the sex and all the other things that bind and draw people together. Okay, to have Mercury in that place, wherever it is in your chart, means that you are lent for the time being something that is actually trying to communicate, despite the deep sea diving in the raincoat and the aqualung. Nevertheless, there is something struggling to get the words out. Right, if that is trying to Saturn in Pisces, then what's happening in the sky is that those two planets are having a prosaic and profound conversation. There is no fire mentioned in this setup at all. No element of fire. Right, well, that's interesting, because it means without that fire, something of a serious conversation can take place with no exaggeration. Fire exaggerates. And we also have to remember fire is about imagination and about confidence. So instead of there being exaggerated statements, what there could be is just profound, quiet statements which are sensitive to the time, sensitive to the emotions. So if we add that to what we've already got, that the moon and the sun are in harmony at the moment, quite willing to talk about emotions, and then we add this, another emotional talking thing, we're starting to get a picture of how today is one of quiet conciliation, if you like, or an ability to put the feelings and the head as one instead of the feelings and the head going in separate directions, which quite often happens. Okay, we've also got in here Uranus trine Vesta. Okay, and they're both in Earth. So Vesta is in Virgo and Uranus is in Taurus. Right, okay. This is one that probably won't get noticed by a lot of people, and unless you tend to be someone who likes to have an opportunity to go into a deep focus of self meditation, perhaps. And being in Earth, it is also not a highly visible and highly available energy for us down here on the surface of planet Earth. Because Earth itself, the element, tends not to be given to imaginings and spiritual or non-corporeal things. So, put basically, because Vesta is about focus to self, it's possible that Uranus can inspire Vesta with its brilliance, its genius, its uproar, but nevertheless, its flashes of inspiration. So, if Vesta is in Virgo and Uranus is in Taurus and they're connecting within the earth signs, you've all got the earth signs in your chart, nobody's missing a zodiac sign anywhere in their birth chart, then it's possible that the earth sign in you, and if your sun is in that sign, it's possible that you can get inspiration from quiet focus on self. Does that make sense? Okay, right. I'm just going to share again because I want to point something else out to you and I forgot it earlier. And I also want to look at the chart myself. It's easier for me to read from a chart when it's in front of me than when I turn it off so that I can speak to you. What I'll have to do in future is make sure I've got the chart in front of me. Just that exercise. I had to really think about where everything was. That now I'm looking at it, I just go da, 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 da. 30 years of doing it, I suppose. Right, Mars down here, 24 Cancer, is coming up to an opposition with Pluto. Ta-da! This is a cage rattler. And I'm just going to give you the date that they actually go to exactness, but I want you to remember that these things tend to happen a day or two before the exactness. So it's the 2nd of November. We're on the 21st of October, not far off. We will have Mars opposite Pluto. And I'm going to leave my explanation of that. Let me just stop the share. And I'm going to leave my explanation of that to next time, which will be tomorrow, because I tend to do a video every day. I try to do one every day, Monday to Friday. Sometimes I'm just a failure and I only do it 4 times, but I try. Okay, thank you. Now, so I hope that was useful anyway. You can spend your evening talking to your partner and laying everything, get bare chested on the table, getting everything off your chest, I mean. Right, okay, so don't forget I've got books that you can buy. The Astrology Reading Cards have sold 45,000 copies worldwide now. That's amazing. There's stuff in the comments so you can reach all these things. I never talk about these, the Greek mythology cards. This is my preferred deck. You know, if I'm going to read cards, I read this one because there's far more cards in it. So the Cosmos has got a greater choice. So when you're asking the questions, it's got more to select from, gives you more sophisticated choice. And also, you're learning mythology while you go along with it. And I just love the images because we've taken, it was Richard Crooks again, the illustrator I always work with. So we actually took famous art forms, famous pieces of art from mythology for every single one. And so you've got these fantastic pieces of art, so famous. I think that works really well. So we've got that and a little bit of mythology and what the card means. So frankly, it's like if I reach for a card deck during a reading, this is the one I reach for, to be honest with you. But the astrology card readings, the astrology reading cards are doing really well because at the end of the day, you're learning astrology while you're doing it. So that's repetitiveness, repetition is all with astrology. And I've got that other one, the one that's just come out, the easy way to learn astrology. And it is the easy way to learn astrology. I should know, I'm dyslexic, which is why I pause sometimes before I can say the word of a planet. And oh boy, that get the book. It's only cheap, and along with these videos, you will be a professional astrologer in a matter of months. It's that easy. Well, you may be practicing for the next 5 years, but anyway. Thank you. Oh, I did a live video earlier. That was a failure. The share went into a black screen, so the whole video is a black screen. So I have deleted that and repeated everything in this one now, which I now have to rush to get out there because normally I like to get them out ready for the evening traffic in the UK, which is the morning traffic in the USA. So there we go, beginning of a week, and I hope you had a nice weekend, and I hope you're going to have a brilliant week. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. Yes, I am. And I'm just going to get out of this. I don't think I'll be doing the live video again. I think I'll just stick with this. You know, I wasn't meant to be a technician. I was just always meant to be an astrologer, and that's it, really. Tiff. Anyway, bye.